talking. Cool. Go on. You got stuff to talk about. Right on.
Coffee's ready. Wow, it's like light out already. It's insane. And all right, here we go. And three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Tuesday. It is February 23rd, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Well, yesterday was a pretty good day. Really was. Started it here. Had a call. Drove to Burlington, which for those of you who may not live in the area, that's about 45 minutes away, where I got a desk, a shared desk at a co-working space. And I had coffee, and it was warm, and there was no cat to bother me. And I met some cool people, and I got a lot of work done. And then I just left. And then when I wasn't there, I didn't have to do work. I think this is going to be really good for me. When I had a co-working space before, what was that, end of 2019 into 2020, it was good, but there weren't other people around doing work. So my biggest challenge is the social aspect of work, I think. The need to be around people that are working and being productive and doing important things that matter to them. And this whole building is full of them. And it's only going to get fuller. There are only going to be more. So I'm stoked. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to create some need for some logistical changes. Like I'm going to have to prep lunch and dinner and snacks. There's a lot of food prep. Because as I was leaving, I was like, okay, I'll stop by the gym. I realized I'm really hungry. And by the time I was going to get done with the gym, it was going to be 8 o'clock and no, without even a normal lunch. That was too long. So I just came home and I made a burger out of waffles and a veggie burger and a salmon burger. It was really good. And what else happened yesterday? Oh, I bought one of these. Anybody else have one of these? Chromebook. So why did I buy this thing? So here's something that may or may not impact you. I have noticed over the last few years, especially as I've upgraded my phone to something with better and better resolution, that it's made my eyes weaker and weaker. That by looking at things here, looking at things farther away has become more and more challenging. So I'm looking for ways to use my phone less. Now my laptop is big. It's a 15-inch. It's a heavy laptop. I could also flip it into the world's most inconvenient tablet. That was a feature that I thought I would use. I've tried it twice and it was useless. But the idea of a Chromebook is really interesting to me. For those of you that don't know, it's basically the Chrome web browser on a computer, and that's about it. So it starts up really fast, and you just, whatever you can do on the web, you can do. And this is an 11-inch thing, so it's a little bit bigger than I want, but the goal here is, can I leave my phone on the charger more and use this? Because I can get texts and email and everything else I need to on here. And it's a backup for my laptop. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Can't use every app that you can use on a phone, but a lot of them. Most of the important ones. I mean, what doesn't have a website, right? I don't play games, really. And actually, that was one of the things that I had to stop doing. What was I playing? Clash of Clans on this thing. And it was killing my eyes. And one day I just said, you know what, I can't, it's not worth it. It's not worth damaging my eyes to play this stupid game. So I just cold turkey stopped playing. Good morning, Brian. And yeah. One other thing, and I'm curious if anybody's experienced this. If you look at our YouTube channel, if you look at the content, we have tons of videos. I mean, what are we up to? Like 600. Well, if you count First Cup, we're knocking on 1,000 videos, 900 videos, something like that. And they're monetized. There are ads. But somebody posted a comment Sunday night that at first I thought they were exaggerating. They said, thanks for doing this interview with this person. And who was it? Who was it with? I forget who it was with. Anyway. And they said, but there are 19 commercials. Who's going to sit through this? And I didn't realize how much control we had over the ads in the middle. We can set the timing. And I found that function and opened it, and sure enough, there was an ad at like 45 seconds and 2 minutes and 4 minutes and 9 minutes and 10 minutes. And I went, what the heck is going on, YouTube? Because YouTube suggests where to put those. I was like, this is not okay. And it set me down a rabbit hole that resulted in realizing most of our videos were like that. So I want to apologize, first off, if that's affected anybody. If you've seen it, I'm curious to know what your reactions were. Did you keep watching and skip the videos or what? Because we don't have, to my knowledge, we don't have non-skippable videos on anything. And worked with Leslie yesterday. We worked out a whole process, and we're going to fix it. We're going to go through every single video and adjust those ads so they're a little bit more reasonable. Like every 10 or 20 minutes instead of every 2 or 3. And the hope is, knock on wood, that will mean people will watch more videos, they'll stick around, they'll subscribe more, we'll make more ad revenue. Maybe it'll actually do something. Because we've got some good content. So there was that. I've got, what do I have today? 3 episodes? Where's my calendar? Let's check. I think I'm recording 3 episodes today. It's kind of insane. I have a call with a client at 9:30, recording at 11, recording at 3, recording at 6. So if I'm going to get to the gym, it's going to be during the day. I don't like going to the gym during the day. I don't feel like working afterwards, but if I don't go today, that'll be 3 days. I don't like going that long. I need to move. So I'll tell you something. The one at 11, this is interesting. 11 o'clock, I am collaborating with Jason Brick from, what's the name of his podcast? Strongest Family on the Block? He's been on the show. And somebody that many of you probably know, but haven't really connected with, Chris Wilder. So we're going to do a 3-part episode that's going to air on each of our channels on the same day. So I'm kind of pumped about that. I like Jason. I don't really know Chris, but respect the hell out of him. He does some cool stuff. So that'll be happening. And then this evening, 6 o'clock. Why am I recording at 6 o'clock? If you're a Patreon member, you know who I'm recording with at 6 o'clock. I am not going to spoil that. For some of you, the name won't mean anything, though it should. For others, you're going to go, whoa, when you see it come out. It'll be a few weeks, but I'm excited for this one. There aren't too many people that when Leslie reaches out and says, hey, are you willing to do a late recording with this person, that I say yes. I used to say yes all the time. I don't say yes anymore. Hardly ever. So, and then in between, it's just work, more work, and more work, and more work. All right. Let's go to work. What did you all write in? What do I have to talk about today? You guys are quiet this morning, by the way. Okay. So I've got spam. got a quote from Emmett. There we go. It didn't load the first time. And I've got some quotes from Frank from W.E.B. Du Bois. Let's start with Emmett's. Okay. We must accept violence as a tool and not a taboo. For our own self-protection, we are disabling ourselves by shying away. The criminal does not... Let me read that again a little better. Why is my voice all scratchy? Let's try again. Do I have to do vocal exercises before I start the show? We must accept violence as a tool and not a taboo. For our own self-protection, we are disabling ourselves by shying away. The criminal does not. Self-protection is but the understanding of violence as a tool and who can use it to have the advantage. Overall, yes, I agree. There are a lot of quotes that say something similar. Better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. The only people who choose to not be violent are the ones who know how to be, etc. There is something to be said for the confidence that is instilled when knowing how to protect yourself. And this is the only argument I have in defense of poor quality martial arts. As I said, not in attack of, in defense of. Here's what I mean. I've never been in a fight. I'm proud of that. Now, it's not because I was sheltered or because people stepped in for me or I was locked in a closet for 30 years. It's because I've always been able to diffuse. Now, why was I able to diffuse? Because I had some skill at that, some practice, but I also had the confidence in knowing that if things were going to go down, I had a good chance of defending myself. If someone is aggressing on you, and it's basically bullying, 99 times out of 100, it's bullying. It's not random violence. Random violence being somebody walking up on you and just punching you and taking your wallet. That's not what it is. It's usually some type of social thing that sparks an issue, whether you're in school or at work or whatever. When those situations start to develop, there's a dynamic that happens. Somebody becomes the aggressor, somebody becomes the defender. The bigger the gap, the more confident the aggressor is. Think about it in terms of bullying. How do you stop a bully? You stand up to them, right? You reduce that gap between the two people. I never gave much space to anyone. Was I shy at times? Yeah. Did I not want to fight? Of course not. But everyone knew that I trained. I never bragged about it, but they always wondered what would happen. And when I think of the instances that almost went sideways, it was because there was a group of people. There was somebody that knew that somebody else had their back in case they couldn't get through me. So that confidence becomes really important. Now, why do I say this is an argument in defense of poor quality martial arts? Because that confidence. You can be a terrible, you can have poor quality, let's say call them street defense skills, legitimate self-defense skills, but feel very confident in them. And that will help protect you. Now, the argument against that is that, oh, well, if somebody gets into a situation, they're going to get hurt. They were going to get hurt anyway. I can't imagine too many scenarios where somebody says, I'm going to be more likely to get into this fight because I know martial arts. That is not common. That is incredibly uncommon. So, violence, there's a difference between self-defense and violence. Self-defense is doing the bare minimum. Self-defense is I'm going to extract and walk away. Well, I should say there's overlap. Self-defense could be you punch me, I block, I push you away. I've reduced that gap enough between you as the bully and me as the victim that you're not willing to continue. That's self-defense. Violence is you throw a punch at me, I block it. Instead of pushing you, I break your nose. And if I'm unsure if that is enough, I hit you again. And I continue with that approach until I am 100% sure that you are no longer a threat. Not everyone has the stomach for violence. And I honestly don't know if I do. I hate violence. But can I do it? I don't know. I hope I never have to find out. Maybe we should do an episode on that. Andrew, if you're watching, the difference between violence and self-defense. That would be interesting. Thanks, Emma. I like that you're submitting some of these original thoughts. It's cool. It's nice to see your thought process. All right, and now these quotes from Frank from W.E.B. Du Bois. One is astonished in the study of history at the recurrence of the idea that evil must be forgotten, distorted, skimmed over. We must not remember that Daniel Webster got drunk, but only that he was a splendid constitutional lawyer. We must forget that George Washington was a slave owner, and simply remember the things we regard as creditable and inspiring. The difficulty, of course, with this philosophy is that history loses its value as an incentive and example. It paints perfect man and noble nations, but it does not tell the truth. I don't believe in sanitizing history. I believe in understanding the totality of history. I won't say more than that. Either America will destroy ignorance or ignorance will destroy the United States. Man, these are on point. Can you destroy ignorance? I don't think so. Why ignorance? Not stupidity, not, just ignorance. What does ignorant mean? Lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of context. It is a lack of information in your brain. One of the things we've talked about on this show, on Martial Arts Radio, if you know anything about me, you know I value knowledge. You know I value learning. It's a prime aspect to my personality. And I've told the story before about Sensei Gene earning his black belt when I was a kid, my mother asking him, "What does it feel like?" He says, "I know how much I don't know." That's one of the challenges with learning or with becoming less ignorant. What's the cliche? Ignorance is bliss. There's something to that. How much do dogs know? They're incredibly happy. How about babies? Babies are usually pretty happy. They don't know what's going on. What about the saying, if you're, there's a bumper sticker that I've seen, if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. There's a lot to be upset about if you choose to be upset. But the more you learn, the more you're aware, the more you realize that there's a lot going on that you probably don't like. So ignorance, sometimes almost subconscious, so I don't think very often it's conscious, but a subconscious resistance to having perspective changed or information shared. And we've seen some of this, especially over the last year. It's an attempt to preserve a state of being that is comfortable. I wish I hadn't known. I wish I hadn't asked. You ever said that? I wish I hadn't asked that question. Because you don't want to know the answer. There are times when remaining ignorant is the best choice. Gabe says, there are too many who are willfully ignorant to completely eradicate it. Yes. The question is that okay? And I think it is. Because not everyone has the capacity to do more and care more. They are focused on the boundaries that they've drawn out for their lives. And I don't think it's appropriate for us to say, you have to do more. So long as that person's actions or ignorance don't have a strong or even a negative impact on others, they have the right to live in ignorance. Most of you know I'm a pretty diehard libertarian. If you want to do your thing, if it doesn't affect me, I have no right to care. If it doesn't affect other people, nobody has a right to care. If you want to sit over there and eat Fritos 3 meals a day and die of a heart attack next year, that's sad. But I don't have a right to intervene. I might ask you if you want help, but if you tell me no, I'm going to leave you alone. So, what's going to happen? I think we'll see. I think in the next year or two, we're going to see either a huge shift. Oh, is it snowing again? Always? Can't tell. Maybe. I think we're going to see some further changes. Education must not simply teach work, it must teach life. I agree. I don't think it does. Back when I had my IT company and I was hiring people, I came to realize that the majority of people, because I started that business when I was 22 and sold it in 2014 when I was 35. So there's quite a span there. And over that time, I watched a severe degradation in the life skills of the applicants. People did not know how to write a resume. They did not know how to interview. They did not understand money or business or raises. They didn't understand communication. They didn't understand what was expected of a job. And I don't mean specific things. I mean like showing up on time is a big deal. And I'm thinking of one employee in particular. We didn't have paid vacations. So there was one employee in particular who would schedule time off, which I always gave my team as much time off as they asked for if we could accommodate it. And he would get his check and he would go blow it get into a severe problem the next week or in 2 weeks because he didn't have another check coming. This guy was my age. He didn't just do this once. He did this every time. It's pretty bad. Now, why do I bring that up? Yeah, there certainly are some. We could say that, well, that has to do with where they went to school. We could say that there's some selection bias because this was a computer store. You know, a lot of things we could say. What do people need to know how to do to live? They need to understand food. They need to understand how to hold a job. They need to understand basic financials. They need to understand communication. They need to learn how to learn. And schools teach a little bit of that, but not much of the rest. In the grand scheme, which is more important? How to buy, store, prepare, cook food, or calculus? Does learning calculus help you with food? No. Does learning food help you with calculus? No. Which of those things matters more? And it must be snowing because there's a plow going by. It's the food. Whether it's conspiracy or not, the majority of high school graduates come out of school with little to no tangible life skills having been taught by the public school. And I think that's messed up. How to read, although I don't know how many people learn how to read in school. I'm especially glad of the divine gift of laughter. It has made the world human and lovable despite all its pain and wrong. Laughter is so contagious in the best possible way. You ever go to a comedy show and listen not just to the comic, but the people around you? I've had times where I've laughed at somebody laughing. Not so much the joke on stage, but being so pleased that somebody else found it so funny that I actually laugh at them. Laughter, humor, the ability to catharsize in that way at that moment, I think is so beautiful. And we appreciate funny. We appreciate that likeness. I don't know. I don't know what else to say on that. But funny is good. I like making people laugh. It doesn't happen very often. One more. And remember, if you've got good stuff like this, drop it in the comment section. Or even if it's not good stuff, drop it in the comment section. Basically anything but spam is open. Strive for that greatness of spirit that measures life not by its disappointments, but by its possibilities. I'm going to read that one more time. Strive for that greatness of spirit that measures life not by its disappointments, but by its possibilities. Nothing else to say on that one. That is a perfect way to end. So, thank you for watching or listening, if you're listening later. If you're new, subscribe, turn on notifications. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time here on YouTube. If you've got comments, drop them in the comment section below once the show ends, or if you're listening or don't want to put them there, email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. If you want to support what we do, go watch some other videos. Watch some of those ads. We make like half a cent every time you do it. Woo! Or you could join our Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick, and you could find out who I'm recording with this evening. You could also buy something at whistlekick.com using the code FIRSTCUP15 to get 15% off something like this mug or a shirt or any one of the other many things over there. Now, I'm going to go. And I hope to see you back here tomorrow. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care. Peace.